away from some real live baseball. Well, technically not in this country, but it's another country, but it still counts. It's a couple games. We're 1 week out, and we got 4 people here together. It's not just me and Edward's ugly mug tonight. We got Tyler Berg back again this week as well. 2 weeks in a row, Tyler. Who would have thought? And a special guest tonight, Ryan Swift. We'll get into the NL East here a little bit as well. Ryan, we just talked about briefly right before we got on. It's been a while, sir. Glad we can have you join the 7th inning stretch again.
Yeah, it's nice to be on. I appreciate the invite. I haven't we just started baseball on our own podcast, so it's nice to kind of get back into the groove. It's the best time of the year, right? I love baseball. There's a whole ton of topics to talk about, especially with the early season injuries. So a lot of things already shaken out to be quite interesting.
No doubt. And T, he might need the distraction from the Eagles. It was a good season for your Niners, but still, you guys both had the heartbreaking results. Baseball, hopefully a distraction for both of you for a few months. I know we have the NFL free agency. Be sure to check out all the other shows on Variety Sports Network. The NFL shows, Jordan and Jimmy, the 2/3 of the Talkin' the Gridiron, are doing their they're doing their show right now as well. I like how they're doing it without me. They're finally getting a chance to talk. So that's how they're doing it without me. They get a chance to do the show there without me. So Ryan, BSing Sports out there in Philadelphia. You guys have been killing it over there with it. So we will get into the Phillies here just a little bit. People, hang tight with us for just a few little topics here, and we'll get to the NL East here. I want to start, guys, yesterday with the big news of Dylan Cease going to the White Sox in a blockbuster deal. It really was. It was a big deal. The reason it was a big deal to me is at first I'm like, okay, automatic. It's a win trade for the Padres. Win trade. And I'm trying to think through. I'm like, okay, but what are the Padres also doing? So I'm trying to kind of make sense of both things still, I believe. I think it's a win for the Padres because they needed to replace Snell, but then you can ask questions. How did they get here with it? Ryan, you're the guest. I'm going to start with you on this one. What did you make of the trade there?
Yeah, so I believe the Padres decided to. I think they just decided to replace Blake Snell, like you said, and I think they came out on top personally in this deal. I know that the Padres ended up giving up 2 of their top 10 prospects, but this isn't a particularly deep farm system anyway. I believe they only have 2 guys in the top 100 in the first place. But that being said, Dylan Cease has 2 years of team control. He's got this year of arbitration next year as well, so they are getting Dylan Cease, who was second in the AL Cy Young Award in 2022. 3 consecutive seasons with 200 strikeouts, most starts in the MLB in the last 3 years at 97. So they're getting durability. They're getting a strikeout pitcher. They're getting somebody that provides a lot of electricity at the top of the rotation with Musgrove and Darvish. I think this was a great move for them. And like I said, as far as prospects go, they didn't really give up a whole ton. So good move for them.
What do you think, T?
I absolutely love the trade. I think you're replacing Snell with Dylan Cease. I think Dylan Cease is a much more valuable pitcher. He can go more than 6 innings, and he can go up to 9. And like Ryan said, he was second in the Cy Young 2 years ago, and you slot him next to Darvish and what's the guy's name? He came from the Devil Rays.
Musgrove.
Joe Musgrove. And then they have the young pitchers in Brito and Vasquez. And they have one more guy I can't think of off the top of my head. But yeah, I love the trade. I wish the Giants could have done something like this with Harrison and Webb and put those 3 together. But, the Giants, they do what they do. But good trade for the Padres. I'll be seeing a lot of Dylan Cease this year. And Padres have good top of the lineup or top of the rotation, though.
Logan, jump back on there. I saw you there. Jump back on. I'll get you out of here. It was said Daddy Stone. I threw me off for a second. I wanted to make sure it wasn't a bot, but it was you, I think. So get back on there for a second. I got you out there with it. Back with Caesar. Logan, are you there? We hear you? Yeah.
Sorry, you guys went mute on me for a minute. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Yeah, we hear you, buddy.
Hold on, I'm gonna get to Josh here real quick on the Cease trade. Josh, Cease. The thing with me was, okay, it was like, oh, he had the terrible last year. The White Sox were a disaster. A disaster. Yeah, so you put him in a better. Ryan, I love your point about him. The last 3 seasons, A, he's eating innings, and B, he's getting 200 strikeouts. That is happening with him at the very least. So, Josh, what do you kind of make of that?
This puts Cease in the Cy Young conversation in the NL immediately because he's going to be with a better team defensively.
I love you, Josh.
Hold on, let him speak. Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead.
It's because of the defense and the team around him. That's why. Because he does eat innings. Because he does get Ks. That's what you need to be in the Cy Young conversation nowadays. That ERA is going to be down because the defense is going to probably be a little bit better. I got a feeling. I got a feeling it's going to be a resurgence for him. It's going to be a comeback thing. He may be even the running for comeback player of the year.
Logan, give me the negative side. What do you like? Or give me a positive, but I feel like you might come at it from a different angle. What do you think of the trade?
You need to be careful with these feelings, Josh. I think that's just a sign that you need to get your prostate checked. But
wow,
Wow.
sorry,
Hot at Josh.
I'm not that old, man. Like I'm old, but Darren's older than I am.
well, he's young and spry at heart. Dylan Cease. I posted it yesterday. I said it was funny that 2 months ago the White Sox were asking the sun and the moon and the arms and the legs for Dylan Cease, and they give they get a good guy in Drew Thorpe, who sounds like he's got really good potential. But he's the number 85 in the top 100 prospects. Actually, I think it ended up he was 65.
I got it here at the bottom just for anybody tuning in on YouTube. I got where they stood there. Just go ahead, Logan. Keep going.
So it's a little weird that the Padres came out and just gave him, just nothing. And I thought it would be I'm just curious, honestly, what the Yankees and the Rangers were offering. And I heard somewhere that the Giants were in on Cease too towards the end. And so I thought it would be more of a bidding war, but it turned out it wasn't really anything. And so it's just interesting to me. I think the Yankees were never really in on him. I think they were asking about him. I think the Rangers were really missed out on this opportunity though. And I think that's going to come back and bite him in the butt in the long run. But good gift for the Padres. He's relatively cheaper than Snell, and but there are other players in order to pick that team back up.
Hey Ryan, on that kind of point where Logan was bringing about the prospects part of it, before we wrap up the Cease part, I always get a kick out of that though with the prospects, number 85 overall, but number 8 in the Padres, number 5 in the Padres, number 4, it's like all this doesn't matter. And this we haven't talked about it at all from the White Sox standpoint. So I don't want to spend it, but the White Sox are a very confusing franchise. I just don't know what Andrew Vaughn, come to the Bay Area, come back. I don't get what they're doing at all.
It's weird because the White Sox are almost in a constant state of rebuild. They never want to be finally we're going to contend for a division title. Finally, we're going to make that one move to put a piece together to go ahead. And in a very wide open division too, nonetheless. The AL Central does not have any powerhouses in it by any stretch of the imagination. So especially when you've got Andrew Vaughn, you've got Luis Robert, you've got some young core pieces involved in this team. You let Giolito walk in free agency. You trade Dylan Cease. When at some point are you going to be yeah, we want to start winning baseball games? I'm right there with you. None of this makes any sense to me. The White Sox just constantly want to blow up and move on, and it's strange. I don't get it.
Did you guys see that they moved? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you guys see that they moved Kopech to the bullpen?
Yeah, he didn't necessarily agree with that decision. Yeah, but if I'm Kopech, I'm buddy, you can't make any decisions. You know what I mean? At the same point, you're not the right to say anything like that. David Mays, tuned in, appreciate it. The only thing that might affect San Diego in the return packages for the Friars is Wilson. He has the depth piece. Yeah, that would be an interesting one. He was the last prospect they kind of threw in there as well. Tyler, we always joke about Vaughn coming out to the Barry and the White. And like I said, the ownership for me, it's ownership a little bit with them as well. T, what do you think about as we get off that part of it? Let's go to another pitcher here. Let's go to Cole. What do you think about Cole? He missed his time for the believe the loss Garrett Cole. I believe that I love Garrett Cole. I am a Garrett Cole guy. To me, I know the Yankees can go out and buy somebody. They might be able to do that, but it sounds like they're not. They could have traded for Cease if they really wanted to. What do you think about Cole missing at least a month?
It's going to hurt the Yankees a lot. It just continues the trend of the Yankees not being able to stay healthy year in, year out. They could still go get Snell. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're just going to hope he comes back after a month, and I don't think he will. I think he'll be out for at least a month, 2 months, or even 3. Like these elbow injuries are never good. They never come back unless you get Tommy John sit out the whole year, and you'll come back to normal sometimes. But I just don't see this ending in a positive note this season for the New York Yankees.
And Josh, that's what I like, as we'll talk about the AL East a couple next week, but like this injury to me is such a big part. Like I enjoy watching Garrett Cole pitch. For me, this is a bummer. Like I just like watching Garrett Cole pitch. So and so for me, for the Yankees, it's a big loss. Your thoughts of that?
I mean, it's a massive loss, but this
believe
happens.
Cortez, can he get the job done?
I mean, maybe. I don't know, man. When it comes to Garrett Cole in particular, and this isn't against him, it's just this happens in baseball nowadays. The guys are limited to have gotten so limited to how many innings they're supposed to throw that their elbows and their shoulders can't take the wear and tear of a season after season after season. They just
don't
can't.
You feel he might be the exception though? I feel like he throws a ton of innings compared to most.
Obviously not.
I mean, he hasn't really
not
been
made like they used to.
2016. I mean, he's had like pretty good arm history for a while. He's had a few injuries,
for a while,
but he's been pretty healthy here throughout the Yankees contract. I don't know. Like, I guess Ryan, will throw it to you. I guess, what do you think in terms of the AL East? Is this kind of like, I'm talking not making the playoffs, like winning this division? Is this a massive loss?
So to kind of go back to my show, actually 2 weeks ago where we covered the AL East, Yankees over-under wins were at 93.5. Baltimore's were at 90.5. I predicted Baltimore to win this division before Garrett Cole got injured, and it was specifically because the Yankees' rotation behind Garrett Cole is no good. They're just not. The bullpen's suspect. They've lost a couple big pieces over the years. But this rotation is terrible, let's be honest. And if Garrett Cole ends up missing closer to 2 months with this injury, they're not hitting 93 wins. They'll probably hit 86 at best. This is a team that, they rely basically on their bats to kind of carry them. Obviously, the addition of Juan Soto is huge, but ultimately the loss of Garrett Cole, relying on Marcus Stroman to be your number one pitcher, that's not going to cut it, especially not in that ballpark, not in that division that's going to be so competitive from, top to fourth place. This is massive. Even if it is just for a month, that's a lot of games that they need the reigning unanimous AL Cy Young Award winner for. And this 1 month injury could take the Yankees out of the division altogether. And it's a division that I didn't have them winning in the first place.
And it's a weird thing too, because like when DeGrom went out with the Rangers last year, it was like big deal. But like DeGrom has more of that history. Like he really does. Like, so I think even as like a team, you're kind of mentally prepared for this. I don't know. That's how I would like. Cole to me is like just like you said, you put it word perfectly. And then I read this article today. Shout out to Sunday Conversations. If you're an old school ESPN head, Mike Lupeka wrote an article today saying he thinks the Yankees can overcome it. He gave some examples, thinking Cortez going back to a couple of years. I'm with you, Ryan. I just don't agree with that. Logan, you got any final thoughts on Cole here?
I mean, it's rough. It's as a part-time Yankees fan. Yeah, I mean, I think Stroman is a solid 3. Nestor Cortez could be a really good 2, but I mean, you don't know. And the sad thing is that they had a really good starting pitching prospect in Michael King, but they traded him to the Padres for Juan Soto. So, I mean, the Yankees, I think if the offense is going to be as good, because I told you, I mean, Jason Dominguez, Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, and Juan Soto, I mean, those as your big 4 guys, and then having Anthony Rizzo, I mean, the Yankees could stay in it, but I think even when you bring Cole back, first of all, he's not going to be 100%, and you're going to be too scared to pitch him at full speed.
No doubt.
And so, yeah, for now. And then, so I really, I know I really want Snell for the Yankees, but at this point, I think it's actually a need. And I think that, I think they really need it. And I saw someone say that they were looking at Mike Lorenzen, And I thought, do not do that. Do not replace a hurt Garrett Cole with a fifth Michael Lorenzen. That is stupid and asinine. You have great players. You have at least 5 Hall of Famers on your team right now. And yeah, they should have gone out and gotten bullpen help, like I had said, all freaking off season. But it's okay. No one listened to Logan Stone during the off season. It's okay. But it's
Daddy
fine.
Stone
I'm
knows
fine.
his baseball, people. Daddy Stone. Who is your daddy? That is the key. Who is your daddy?
Gosh.
Hey, Tyler, to put a little bow on it before you go to Devin Williams' role, do you agree with Ryan 93 wins? Is it less or more now?
No, it's way less. I don't even know if they get to 80.
Way less.
Whoa.
They can't pick. So now you have to depend on Carlos Rodon,
Mr. Soto.
He has had one healthy season the last 4 years. They're going to score runs, but they've always been able to score runs. They're not going to be able to get people out. And then if you can't get people out in baseball, you're going to lose a lot of games. And the bullpen leaves a lot to be desired also. So, even with the starters, you're not getting great back end either. So the game's going to feel so long for the Yankees. Every out is going to be a struggle. And, yeah, you can score, and they will score, but it's going to be a long season for the Yankees, especially with the expectations of 93.5 wins.
Appreciate the Backing Up Binge podcast.
For what it's worth, between Rizzo, Stanton, and Judge last year, they played a combined 306 games between the three of them. They averaged 102 games over the season last year. So if they don't if the offense doesn't stay healthy, they're screwed. The Blue Jays will finish better than them. The Rays will finish better than them. They'll finish in 4th place again.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, I was gonna ask if the Yankees had gotten Phil Maton, Ryan Stanek, and another top reliever, do you think they feel a lot more comfortable with Cole going down? If their bullpen was in a better place?
Those names don't make me feel sexy, though. Those don't make me feel that
They
great.
tickle my pickle.
Tyler, am I wrong? I'm not feeling good after Phil Maton.
But it'd feel great if the Giants signed Ohtani and brought in a Soto too.
We've mentioned as far as starters, we've mentioned Stroman, we've mentioned Nestor Cortez. Name me the other 2 starters in their rotation with Cole healthy.
Rodon's one, but he'll be out.
I mean, Rodon's terrible. Rodon's garbage. Rodon has now eclipsed Patrick Corbin as the worst contract in baseball.
Oh, definitely.
I haven't heard that yet. That's good.
Up there too.
Corbin's on his last year. The Nationals are finally the lights at the end of the tunnel. Rodon is. I mean, Rodon's
We'll get
terrible.
into that in a second here with it. Hey, I know I want to keep it moving here with it. Closer Devin Williams, though, Tyler, he goes out. You know he's my favorite. He's literally my favorite pitcher in the league. I just love watching him pitch one inning of baseball. Him and Cole are right there. His stuff is so nasty. That changeup is disgusting. I've been saying I believe in the Brewers partially because of him still, and Ryan Hoskins back. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so Tyler, what do you think about Devin Williams going out? I'm messing with you. I remember our podcast a year ago. He was a hot topic a year. What do you think about that going out? I don't want to get in the Brewer, the whole division of the NL Central. We talked about that last week, but Devin Williams, can the Brewers overcome an injury like this?
No, I don't think they can. I don't think they were going to be any good with Devin Williams. I don't really. But beyond that, it just sucks for baseball fans because, like you said, he had one of the nastiest pitches in all of the MLB. To watch him pitch for one inning is pretty fun. It was like K-Rod stuff with what he threw out there.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, the Brewers were kind of out of it when they, traded Corbin Burns to the Orioles. I just don't see it. But to be honest with you, the whole NL Central is not particularly good anyway. So maybe the Cardinals will snag it. But this kind of nail in the coffin for the Brewers, in my opinion.
Don't string me along like that, Ryan. You know the Cardinals are going to suck. Don't try to give me hope.
Oh, well, all the teams in that divisional suck. But, they might win it.
Somebody's got to win it, right? Come on, the Brewers still
can't all be Phillies fans. Good Lord.
Come on, Josh. What do we got? Give the Brewers a chance. They got a chance.
No, they're done. They're toast. He was their only chance to make sure that when things got tight, they could hold on to a lead.
Tyler, come on.
At the end of the day, we're talking about a closer. It's really, it's important.
He's an elite closer. He's maybe the best closer.
He is the best.
It's
closer
hard to
in the
But then
close
you gotta-
games when you're behind the whole
Yeah,
time
exactly.
on the
They
score.
have no hitting. Willie Adames is your big hitter. I don't know. Just
You'll have Reese Hoskins to hit a home run every 3 games or so.
Oh, I can't wait for Ryan's BSing. But Ray Hoskins 0 for 5. I like yeah.
with
I like our
Cortez.
current first baseman much more. Just saying.
That was
Uh,
Hey, I like this question. Who has more wins, the Brewers or the White Sox? It's still got to be the Brewers, right?
Yeah.
yeah. The White Sox are going to be the
They
bottom.
still
of
have
the league.
Peralta as a pitcher there. I mean, at least they have one. They're right there. The White Sox. I don't know. We'll see what the Brewers. So, all right. So Williams goes out. So a couple big injuries around the MLB with Cole going out. Williams. I mean, all right. At the end of the day, you're right. Closer, but like you said, AL unanimous AL Cy Young winner, and then you have. What didn't Williams win Rolaids relief pitcher of the year? So you have like two of the best arms in the league going out basically, and you don't have Ohtani pitching this year. So just from a watching standpoint, you have a couple big names that are going down this year that are entertaining to watch. And as a baseball fan, that's something I look forward to. All right. Ryan Swift on the program. If you're joining us, and maybe as a BSing sports fan, this is what you've waited for. The fans, the main event here. If we get Buffer on the program, let's get to it. The NL East outlook here. Outlook with it. Ryan, I feel like I understand we'll get to your Phillies in a second, but let's start with who won the division first, and then we'll get to who beat them in the wild card. But let's go with the Braves storylines. This is what I have. You guys add whatever you feel like you need to add to it at any point. I got who will win the fifth starter job for the Braves. I got rotation health is a big thing, obviously, with Free going out last year a lot. And can the offense be historic again? Acuna's health. Ryan, where do you see the Braves in this division? Not you don't have to pick, but just like you as a fan, how do you see their big storylines? How are you looking at them?
Well, the Braves will challenge the Dodgers as the best record in baseball. That's just kind of the way it is. They've got Chris Sale on the cheap, right? And if you take away his April stats last year, everything from May on kind of made it look like he was old Chris Sale, 78 innings, 95 strikeouts, a 3.16 ERA. And he did okay in his couple spring starts, a little bit of bad luck, but I mean, it's the spring anyway, so it doesn't matter really. They're deep everywhere, right? You look at the rotation, you look at the infield, you look at the lineup. I mean, there's nothing that the Braves don't do well, except against the Phillies in the playoffs, which is the only thing that matters to me.
So how do you view the Braves as you as a Phillies fan? Like you said that in the playoffs, like are you still at the end of the day kind of scared? Like that's the scariest team, or you like we own these little punks?
It's always scary, especially because when you look at the fact that the Phillies have beaten them in the playoffs the last 2 years, if you go back and look at the regular season records, the Phillies went 8-11 against them the last 2 years each. So it's kind of it's weird. Playoff baseball is weird, right? And you've heard a lot of complaints, particularly from Braves fans, about that long
And their manager
from a number one seed. But the reality is, part of me thinks that it wouldn't make much of a difference, right? Like the Braves are so much better than the rest of their division. They kind of clinch this, mid-September, and they kind of lose that edge, mid-September. So you're talking about taking like 3 weeks off of truly competitive baseball, and then you're trying to get back into it versus a team who's been struggling, for the whole season to try and claw their way into the playoffs. So yeah, the Braves are the class of the NL East, and maybe the whole NL. Obviously, there's a bit. We'll kind of get into that in a moment, but truthfully, when it comes down to the playoffs, it's one game, one pitch.
Yeah, no doubt. I hear you on that. Tyler, what do you think of the Braves' big storyline here? What are your thoughts of them just overall?
I mean, the Braves will run away with this division like they have the last 2 years. Phillies will be a wild card team and probably have the second or third best record in the whole NL. The Braves are just loaded. It's not even like a fair fight how they've
Can they be historic again, I guess? Can I ask you that? Can they be historic again? Because
certainly
could. 60 bombs this year?
No, I don't think anyone's going to have a single season better than Acuna's last year. Acuna last year was out of this world. He might go 50-50, I guess. That would be ridiculous. That's how talented the guy is. I don't think Olsen's going to set the world on fire like he did last year. This roster is unfair. They are loaded from top to bottom. Your A's helped them get there.
Yeah, we like that letter A.
I think the Phillies are going to be – when you have Trey Turner and Bryce Harper, they can change the game at any point in time. So, they will always have a fighting chance having those two guys at the top of their lineup.
Daddy Stone, if you jump back on, we'll get you on there with it. Josh, what do you think of the Braves storyline there?
I mean, Ryan and Tyler covered how good they are and how deep they are. I don't know if Acuna can do what he did last year again. I guess that's what I'm going to be looking for out of them. My expectations are so high. I probably won't pay much attention to the Braves because I just expect that they're going to be good. But
TBS
I'll be
Braves.
interested. Yeah, basically. Yeah, they're not that anymore, but that's why I watched a lot of them growing up. Thank God for Chip Jones, Andrew Jones, who's been screwed out of the Hall of Fame again. But no, I mean, I'm going to be watching what Acuna does. That's really going to be my main focus on the Braves and watching the pitching, making sure they're staying up to where they are. And
do you think Strider can do what he did again? Can he build on that? I'm kind of like, he's the one guy where I'm like, either he's just going to jump to this ridiculous level, or he's going to kind of fall back to earth. I don't know. He's the one guy, guys, where I'm just like, I'm not sure. I know he throws 100. I get it. But it's like, sometimes he's got the goods. I don't know.
I think he's got the goods. I think he's legit.
All right. No, I got you.
I think at worst, he has a Tim Lincecum running him where he's for good for 5 years. At worst.
I hear you. Logan, any last thoughts on the Braves there before we move on? No. Phillies. Ryan, let's get to him. I wrote a few here. You give me whatever else you got on this team. To me, you're moving Harper to first. You got one of the best offenses in the league. Turner seems like he probably is now comfortable in your area. He's an electric player. You have Wheeler and Nola, who we gushed about for 10 minutes last week on the show to start the whole program. What do you make of your squad?
Well, the number 3 point right there, respond to a full season at first base. I don't care where it's at. This is the first full season we're getting Bryce Harper in 3 years, which is huge because, as you may remember, he missed some time 2 years ago because of the initial elbow injury and then missed some time again, in the beginning of last year because of that same elbow injury. So we're getting Bryce Harper for a full season again. Mind you, the Phillies, without Rhys Hoskins and with only part of Bryce Harper, finished top 10 in every major offensive statistical category last year. So I hope Rhys Hoskins' toes hurt from kicking rocks on the way out the door. But that being said, will Johan Rojas crack the opening day roster? I doubt it. My initial thought before we traded for Whit Merrifield was maybe. However, I think that Rojas is going to need plate appearances. He's going to need at-bats. And truthfully, Brandon Marsh looks healthy. He looks ready to go. Schwarber will be out there. Whit Merrifield will be out there. And I think it comes down to, do they want Jake Cave or Johan Rojas being the lefty bat off the bench? And it's got to come down to Cave, right? You need Johan Rojas to get his ABs. So I think he starts in AAA. There's potential for him to work his way up, but right now I think he starts in AAA. I think that's the best spot for him.
Do you think what is the part you're most nervous about with your team?
The bullpen. It really is the bullpen. This is a very unseasoned, very high risk, high reward bullpen, right? A couple of guys that tend to overachieve, a couple of guys that, didn't look so great. I really don't know what it's going to look like after the first six. The first six are pretty solid, in my opinion. You'll get Alvarado on the back end. He's kind of solidified himself as one of the better bullpen arms in the NL. But truthfully, the thing that's keeping the Phillies out of the Braves tier is the bullpen is just a gigantic question mark. We really don't know what we're going to get from them, and that's what scares me. Now, fortunately, there's three clear tiers in this division. There's the Braves, the Phillies, and then everybody else. So the Phillies are pretty comfortably in second in this division, but it's really all dependent on, which side of are they going to finish close to the Braves or are they going to finish closer to the pack? And the bullpen is going to be the answer to that question.
And obviously you have your two big horses at the front there. Logan, before you get to Tyler here, what do you got? What are you making the Phils here? Any thoughts for Ryan there on his Phillies?
Oh, I just hope that they have a big, goose egg throughout the whole season because the Cardinals are going to suck. So I just want Ryan to share my misery. No. Yeah, I mean, it's their bullpen. It's always been their problem. They probably need a shortstop, right?
They need a lot of a shortstop. They have Turner. They don't need anything. They need bullpen. That's what Ryan said.
Oh, shit. Oh, no. Oh, no. Who is it that I'm thinking?
Rhonda
Oh,
Edwards says,
they need
hey,
another
Rhonda
bat, in my
Edwards.
opinion.
Logan, breaking news. Rhonda
Oh.
Edwards says hi to you. So that's big news here. There. That's what you got to accept with it, Rhonda. I love Josh smiling
Hi,
down
Mama.
below. I like that. Tyler, what do you make of the Bills here?
I mean, they're going to be good. They'll be, like I said, their best team in the whole NL, maybe second if the Dodgers fall back there. I don't know what they're going to do at second base. I mean, obviously, they have Stott. They have Bohm can play first or third, but with Bryce Harper moving to first base permanently, does that take away from Bohm's playing time? Because I always liked Bohm and thought he's got some unfair hate in like certain aspects.
First for a while.
Yeah, exactly. But he could always hit. Every time he came to the plate, I thought, oh, this guy's going to do something. Even though the numbers weren't like absolutely terrific, he just took good at bat. Does he lose his spot in the lineup, or will he be moved to third more, or how's that going to work out?
What do you think, Ryan?
He'll be the regular third baseman. And the funny thing about Bohm is the numbers aren't flashy, but he's got a career 313 average with runners in scoring position. So you talk about a guy like he's the perfect number 4 hitter. He's not going to hit 40 home runs a season, but if I could have a guy in the 4th spot hitting 315 with runners on base, I mean that's all you can ask for right there.
Especially when you have Turner and Harper in front of you, guys over 400 on base percentage.
And then Schwarber, at least walking. He's getting on base there.
Schwarber getting on base a lot.
Yeah. What do you make, Josh?
Again, I think you guys got it covered. The only thing I want to know from Ryan is how do you feel about the Whit Merrifield signing?
I loved Whit Merrifield. I've always thought he was one of the more underappreciated players in the AL throughout his time when he was in Kansas City. Great average hitter, great speed, right? I mean, he stole 35 bags one year.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a good piece in the top of the line, and he has great versatility, right? He plays second, he plays third, he plays all 3 outfield positions. Yep. I feel like he's going to be the type of dude to probably get 100, 120 games a year just by filling in for injuries and on days off across the field. But he provides just absolutely great versatility and a lot of experience to a team that is still pretty young across the board, if you think about it. So I liked it. It was a great move. And for $8 million, I mean, that's pennies in baseball. So,
yeah.
Hey, Ryan, before we move on to a different – I got to ask you about Bryce Harper just real quick. Like, he just seems like the way he's embraced the city, obviously he got the champion – like, is he now, like, in your head, one of your top Philadelphia guys? Like, how do you look at Bryce Harper? Like, Eagles, Flyers, I see all the – like, how do you kind of view Bryce Harper just as a Philadelphia fan?
I would say it depends on the season that he's the number 1 athlete in Philadelphia, right? Come summertime when the Eagles have been off for so long, people will look at Bryce Harper as the number 1 athlete in Philadelphia when he's carrying them into a playoff push. And then, during football season, it's Jalen Hurts. But truthfully, I feel like he's right there as the number 1 loved athlete in Philadelphia. And like I said, he's embraced the city. So he's just fit right in like a glove from day one. Outside of him saying he was going to bring a championship back to DC, that was kind of weird. But
just for my quick little basketball mind here, before is he more popular than Embiid? Hurts. Because he hasn't won a championship. I was just curious. Is he more
I think until Embiid at least makes a conference final, nobody's going to classify him as.
Fair enough, Doug, if you're listening out there. That's our little basketball shout out. The Braves and Phillies, you guys said it. Class of division. Like, they're stacked. The roster there. So we don't have to spend 1,000 minutes on these other teams. But I do – the Marlins, my storylines with them are Anderson, can Arise is Arise the best pure hitter in baseball? And can they overcome the alternate injury? Like, they have Puck basically BSing. I find it funny. They have Luzardo, an XA, maybe being their ace. Then Puck might make the rotation as he's an XA first-round pick. The Marlins are one of the weirdest franchises since they have entered the league. Like, literally since they have entered the league, 1993, they are a terrible ownership team usually. They usually never do it, but somehow they get in the playoffs once in a while. It's literally one of the worst franchises, and I never get what they're doing. Josh Edwards, I'm starting with you because nobody loves those Marlins more than you. I think we'll keep it PG here. Yes, nobody loves them more than you. What do you think of the Marlins storylines here?
Well, the mini Cardinals, or the Florida Cardinals, as I like to call them.
Florida.
They've made a change.
I'll take it.
Well, I'm about to explain this.
Okay.
They basically took like 6 former Cardinals down there to manage and train the team, and teach them good, clean traditional baseball. And Skip Schumacher's done a fantastic job down there. He's got John Jay down there. He's got a bunch of the former Cardinals players, guys who played on the World Series teams in 11, and who were around those really, really good teams in 12, 13, and 14. So the ownership made a good decision when they hired Skip Schumacher, and then Skip made good decisions with the coaches he brought in, and they're changing the culture down there. They got a lot of young, good players. They're a fun team to watch when they're healthy. But Skip's doing a good job down there. They're changing the culture in that franchise. And if they were in a different division, like if they were in the NL Central, they would be the favorite to win the Central, even with Alcantara being out.
I don't know. I don't agree with that.
You cannot agree with the
Luzardo #1.
Look who else is pitching in the NL Central.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Sonny Gray.
Well, we have Adam Wainwright. Oh, wait, never mind.
But not yet. We might. Who knows?
You
but
like
no,
Tim
I just
Anderson too, always a lot.
I like I feel like this is a chance for Tim Anderson to redeem himself, to help Jazz Chisholm grow up a little bit, and maybe avoid some landmines early in his career. If Tim wants to keep playing ball and keep getting paid, he needs to change his image a little bit, and this is his chance. I mean, he's a good player. Defensively, he's a good player at the plate. He's got a lot of experience. He's got a lot of charisma. I think he can relate to those young guys and teach them some things of probably more of the things not to do and things not to say, and maybe teach them how to choose their words and what they do wisely to help them in their careers and regain some of that.
Great right hook.
I don't know. His
Great.
image, like fix his image is the best way to say it.
The image is second base of the let's go to work. Let's go. What do you think, Chief? Then we'll get the logo there.
I mean, they trying to change your whole like personality as a team. That's all good and dandy, but I just don't see the talent on this team outside of Jazz and
How about Arise? Are you kidding me?
Arise, Jazz and Arise. I mean, Josh Bell is okay. Tim Anderson, who he is, he might hit 300, but he's going to have like a 313 on base percentage. So, like, what are you really doing? He's going to hit for no power. I don't know. I mean, those like Brian De La Cruz or Avisail Garcia have big bounce or big years, and I don't know. I don't buy this thing. I could see this team losing 90+ games. I really don't buy it.
Logan, there are a lot of instruments now in the stadium. Home field advantage. They're allowed to go instruments now in the stadium. Come on,
Really?
Just as long as there are no Cubans there, that's fine.
Well,
and if
there's no chance that's not going to happen. There's no chance.
Yeah, unfortunately, just as long as it's not that one Cuban. Okay. I don't know. They're whatever. I don't know if it's whatever. They're whatever. Their pitching's gonna do a lot of the heavy hitting, and then
they made the playoffs last year. You're like, whatever. They made the playoffs last year.
This team, yeah, they are, and that's what. But they're not. The Cardinals got into the playoffs 2 years ago, and they've been making it to the playoffs, and they've been dog shit. I know that. I'm just saying that these teams, they don't actually get to the playoffs and think, okay, we have a chance. They're like, okay, we made the playoffs. Now the fans will get off our fucking asses. Anyways, I'm so done with baseball today. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired, and I'm angry. The Yankees aren't buying people. The Cardinals are dog crap. The Marlins, they aren't buying JD Martinez. I'm angry. It's spring training.
I love
Daddy. I'm fine.
Hey,
anyways,
Rhonda, if you're still listening, call your son. He needs a phone call.
Rhonda Edwards, Logan.
I gotta go. Anyways.
Oh,
you're about to get.
Mom's still on.
Oh,
I thought this was seventh inning after dark.
No, this is the custard.
No, I'm sorry, Mama. I'm very angry today for some reason.
All right, we love you here, my friend. We love you. Seventh, we're here for you. All right, Ryan Marlins, real quick storyline, just real quick. Your final thoughts on Marlins.
Solid pitching. Don't trust the offense. Outside of Arias, I mean, Chisholm's been kind of inconsistent throughout his career. I do like Yuri Perez. Got to watch. Plus, Sixto Sanchez is actually pitching again. So,
all right.
For how long?
we'll get through the Mets here, then I got a Nationals thing here. Real quick here, the Mets here. Final thought. My thoughts here. Closer Diaz back. How will the pitching depth hold with Senga out? You have I forget the guy they
Worse
just
than the
announced.
Yankees.
Who was the guy they just announced today as their opener? I forget, but he was a solid pitcher. How will Alonso's contract year play out? Will any young players emerge as cornerstones? To me, this is the big things. These are my storylines with the Mets. Ryan, you real quick, your thoughts on the Mets?
Cooked. Absolutely cooked. Without Kodai Senga, terrible. The pitching staff is awful. Also, this is the same injury that derailed the careers of Corey Kluber and Johan Santana, by the way. So let's not sit here and say that, Kodai Senga is just going to come back after his injury. This dude might be cooked too. So glad that Edwin Diaz came back. But again, they're not going to be pitching with a lead for very much. And I'll be honest with you, they got to probably move Pete Alonso at the deadline. This isn't a team that's going to compete for a playoff spot. This isn't going to be a team that's going to be remotely competitive for a playoff spot. So very confusing deal with Brandon Nimmo. Too many years, too many dollars. Got to move him. Got to move Pete Alonso. That this is terrible. Got to start from scratch.
It's so funny too because I'm obviously I have a couple guys here at Mets that follow us here. They got the guy that helps out with the Blues notes here, and then we also have the 5-hole show, and then we have Aaron over there, and then we have my guy Chris with the Mets fans. And they're trying to be positive at the beginning of the year. Obviously, their team starts here the new year. Obviously there's the hope Lindor bounces back, right? You're getting like a 330 hitter or something like that. The Alonso part I find kind of interesting. Tyler, what do you make of the Mets and maybe his thoughts on on the Mets too as a Phillies fan there?
I mean, I agree with him again. It's a dumpster fire as far as they're not healthy. Alonso, I don't know if you get rid of Alonso because what are you getting back? If you have a good GM who can bring back the right parts, yeah, do it. But these trades seem to not bring back what you're promised when
you're not an Alonso guy though.
No, I'm not. I think but you need somebody. I like coming back to the Giants like I would do. I wish I had someone who I could go and see hit 50 home runs or at least 40 maybe in the Giants ballpark. They have that. But I still think they're not going to win more than 68 to 75 games, somewhere in there. I don't think they're very good. It'll make for good content when that big fat Mets fan gets all angry. Frank or whatever. That'll be the best part about the Mets season for me. Watch that guy go on tirades.
Was it Frankie or
that
something?
Was me.
Yeah, Frank from Barstool. I know who you're talking about.
That guy.
Oh my God, that's a good time. Josh,
man.
your final thoughts on the Mets here?
This is what happens when somebody who doesn't know what they're doing tries to play fantasy baseball. And this is
that
what happens
first year
to an
killed him,
organization.
huh? That first year killed him. The ownership. It happens in every sport too. You're right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this is just another example and shows that money doesn't always buy teams. Rarely buys teams is what I'll say. But hey, I like watching the Mets burn.
I like the Mets too. I like their uniform, the stripe. Give me the stripe uniform, but I like it with it. So
If Pete Alonso's gone, I might be able to respect him again.
What'd you say about the Correa thing? It'll be interesting. The Alonso thing to me is the biggest thing. If he has like Ryan, like you said, if he has 31 home runs at something crazy like that, like you said, they're going to get the most for him, or is this owner going to pay him $300 million? I doubt it. And we'll see. Boris is his agent, so we saw how that played out here this offseason. All right, Nationals. I don't want obviously that's all I have. Can any of the young pieces develop? Do any of us know them? Probably not very many. And then the ownership to me decides to not sell the team. The Strasburg thing to me is the most interesting thing about this whole franchise is how they're handling the Steven Strasburg thing. Ryan, any thoughts on the Nationals whatsoever, other than the Patrick Corbin deal being one of the worst in the business?
I have this extremely hot take that if just the young guys take one step forward, this team finishes in front of the Mets for fourth place in the NL East. I truly believe that. I mean, you're talking about a team that has Keibert Ruiz, CJ Abrams. You're talking about Luis Garcia Jr., who had a pretty good rookie campaign. You've got Mackenzie Gore. You've got Josiah Gray.
Yeah,
Lane Thomas isn't a bad baseball player either, although he could be dealt deadline. I mean, they have some pieces, like young pieces. They just need them to take the step forward. But, I mean, if they do take that step forward, they're better than the Mets.
And God bless our guy Ant out there in Memphis. Tyler is a Mets fan out there. What do you think? Nationals, Dave Martinez, rough job out there.
I mean, I have nothing to say about that. I'll be keeping an eye on CJ Abrams. He looked promising. He was fun to watch every time I watched the Giants play with Nash.
There is no storyline. That's my point with the
I
team.
really
It's like
don't. I have
that's my
nothing to say
thing with
about
them.
that.
That's kind of my the ownership decides to not sell a team. That was number 2 for me because like they could. I don't know, Josh. It just seems like a wasted year.
They were
for
so
them, other than what
dominant 5
Ryan
years
said,
ago,
developing a few guys. Go ahead, T. What'd you say there?
They were so dominant 5 years ago. It looked like they were built for the long run, and then you have Soto and Harper and
Trade everybody. Pathetic.
disappear real quick.
Marlins-esque.
The team folded with Strasburg's elbow.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Is that why they're not? Is that why they're holding a grudge against him?
Probably.
Man, that's weak sauce on their point there. I'm just saying that's bad ownership on that. What a bad look.
Teach the youngins.
Teach
I mean,
the youngins never gonna come back.
The Nationals' ownership is nearly as bad as Oakland's. So I mean, that's something else you got to
not.
with.
No, it's not, Josh. Let's not.
It's
that's
getting
way
there.
Too kind. That's too kind.
It's getting there.
I would love to see him give a Patrick Corbin contract. I would love that. That would.
They're in the last year of that deal, baby. The lights at the end of the tunnel.
Billy Butler. Did we hear Billy Butler? Oh, Billy. He was the biggest contract in this 3 years, $30 million. You tell me that's a big contract in ownership history. I'll tell you, go to hell. That's a terrible contract. John Fisher, always loser of the week. Fat Boy Fadeaway Sports Podcast. All right, Diamond Note. Shout out to my guy Peter Gammons over there. All right, Boris Collusion. Bo Jackson elected to the Royals Hall of Fame. Giants. They placed JD on waivers after he wins arbitration. A's reveal new stadium designs in Las Vegas. Good luck with the Xbox Stadium. The Braves signed Adam Duvall to the 1 year, $3 million. Ryan, any of those stand out to you?
I'm thankful that the A's are moving out of Vegas. I don't know how you feel about that, Darren, but I mean,
moving out of Oakland, you mean?
Yeah, out of Oakland. It's about damn time, man. About damn time.
Honestly, that makes me sick that you would say that. Because the thing is, like, it's Ryan. I've been saying it for years. Is people, fans like yourself, right there. Is they're obviously you haven't gone to the games like I have over the last like 30 years of my life. It's like you have an owner like the Phillies that says, "Oh, you have good players. Fuck them. Let's sign them. Let's send them to somebody else." Guess what you're saying? I'm not spending money. So, Ryan, as much as you say that, if you have somebody not giving a crap about their product, why would you ever come out? And then when they are good, your team does support them for 50 years. So I would say to you, as a counter to that, Vegas is not going to be any better. The ownership is the problem. So that is your issue with your team.
I 100% agree. I'm not faulting the fans for not showing up. I was on board for that like anti-show up game or whatever.
Oh, that was 230.
That was awesome.
I was so for that. But at some point, like what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something to change? If it takes moving from Oakland to Vegas for the ownership to finally get the money, to spend the money.
They won't.
Go, but you can't stay in Oakland. That's the problem. You just can't. That's insanity.
So you go to a smaller market. That makes sense. I agree.
Vegas will be a
Vegas
way bigger market than
the A's are in the top 10 Bay Area market. The Vegas is in the 40s.
For what?
They'll make more money in Vegas.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're right.
I mean,
that's
a
no-brainer.
no-brainer.
Coming in to watch MLB baseball. You're right. They'll have a ton.
No, it'll be the fans of the other teams that are coming in for the weekends to party.
So what are you talking
catch a game.
about? That's my point. What are you doing? You guys are absolutely out of your mind with this take. Absolutely insane with this take.
Well, let me ask you.
It makes no sense.
Vegas is you said their market was in the 40s based off what? They don't have an MLB team. How are they measuring that?
The TV market. That's how they measure it. Like and the population. And the Bay Area has a much bigger population. The A's were the highest. They paid the biggest salary in the 90s. And then what? They sold to a crappy owner, and then they sold to another crappy owner, and now they don't make money. So I don't want this to make this A's podcast, but I just totally disagree with you guys. Absolutely disagree with you on that. From fully disagree on that. If John Fisher's the owner in Vegas, you will not see a winning team. You will see the Pirates in Vegas. Right, Tyler?
I agree. I think you're thinking from an A's standpoint where they're thinking from a Major League Baseball standpoint where the crowd will be bigger in Vegas.
Oh, you're right. It'll be 15,000 there. That'll be good.
That's better than 4 or 3.
Yeah, but your owner doesn't try for the last 10 years.
But it's still.
But it'll be the visiting team's fans paying to go to the games.
I want to get out there. I want to move. I was about to have a take about Vegas in general being like Vegas is like the hotbed for sports since
Right.
Vegas Knights went there. Everything's going to get moved there. They're going to get the Super Bowl every 5th year, like Miami and San Diego used to. They're going to get a basketball team. It's going to be like one of the meccas of sports because everything's going to be there. And like to think that like 8 years ago, it was like frowned upon to bet on sports, and you're just going to put all your key things in Vegas. Like NBA All-Star games are going to be in Vegas all the time. It's going to be crazy what Vegas is about to be when it comes to sports.
We'll see how
It's only going to last for so long, though.
I'm glad you brought up sports betting because, like you said, Tyler, 10 years ago, sports betting was frowned upon. Now every major league corporation sponsored by FanDuel or DraftKings in some sort of fashion. It's like, okay, like, do we actually frown upon sports betting? Like, what are we doing here?
I find it.
The Vegas, but the A's as an organization, it's going to be a shit organization, as John Fisher said.
See,
They're
the
getting
problem
nothing
is
done.
ownership in baseball for years. I mean, everybody's seen the movie 8 Men Out. It's literally a story about how ownership in baseball since 1919 has been terrible. It's been pathetic. It's well documented. You couldn't even be a free agent in baseball until the 70s.
No, you're right. It's always been terrible. It just cracks me up though. This thing they're going to be better in Vegas. No, they're going to be as crappy as they were in Vegas, and they were there with it. So it is what it is. All right, real quick things on Bo Jackson elected to the Royals Hall of Fame. Boris collusion. I think there is obviously some Boris collusion going on with the ownership here. Obviously, I think that's a definite thing. Duvall, he re-signs with the Braves as well. Obviously, won the World Series with them a few years ago. There were the two. The J.D. Davis thing, that's kind of been looked into a little bit now with the agents. Hey, he won the arbitration and now they're cutting him. So that's kind of an interesting point there with that as well. Do you think there is collusion? Real quick, do you think there's collusion, Tyler? Or
No, I don't. I don't even understand why they're even being brought up as collusion. The guy wants his clients to get too much money, but they don't deserve.
Well, the owners maybe talked to each other and said, we're not paying this guy. We're going to make sure this guy.
I don't think the owners had to talk to each other. I think they all just said, this is dumb, and I'm not going to lose money.
Why would we pay these guys this much money?
It's called common sense in business and the economy.
But like we just said, Major League Baseball ownership is very stupid and have given these contracts before when in desperate need. So, I don't know if there's been a conversation. I think it's a smart thing to do, not to give Jordan Montgomery 7 years. Or whatever the hell they're asking for.
The issue
is,
I like him too, but not for 7 years.
In theory, it should work out in the owner's favor too, because the longer these guys sit, the less they should take. However, when you got injuries like Kodai Senga, Garrett Cole, and you're looking at teams that are competing and they need starting arms now, it's like now Blake Snell's going to call the Yankees, or Scott Boras going to call the Yankees, be like, hey, my price for Montgomery and Snell just went up because we know you need them so bad. So it's always going to work out the opposite. So eventually one of these teams is going to overpay for these guys. It's just the way the cookie crumbles.
And I didn't want to get into massive detail, but I think was somebody I think Boris had a something like this with Keuchel 1 year and a few other free agents, and then next year he had Strasburg get paid and a few others. So next year he has Alonso, he has Soto. I mean, if next year these guys are at this point not signed, maybe we have a different discussion about Boris collusion. You know what I mean? If the big boys aren't signed at some point,
he brought it on himself. There's nobody blame but himself.
Didn't Harper take a while to sign in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Was that March, Ryan?
What? Yeah, he signed. He signed during spring training.
Okay, that's what I feel like. It was late in that one. Bo Jackson, shout out to your state there, that you're in there, Missouri. He does make the Royals Hall of Fame. Just wanted to shout that out. Make sure people got that.
And he should.
Yeah, the blood is boiled though with that A's comment at this point. All right, let's keep it going to the.
I've noticed.
Let's keep it. Let's go, Ryan. Let's see what Ryan's made of here as we get to the final two segments here of the show. Ryan, BSing Sports, appreciate you joining us. Tyler McGurk, obviously TMB Sports Podcast, and here with us, Josh Edwards as always. I'm Darren Breyer, host of Variety Sports Network, MLB Trivia. Who am I, folks? I feel like this is an easy one this week. All right, Tyler, you seem to know me better than most, so hold out if you do. Give me a guess after everybody else. Hint number one. There we go. I played 14 seasons as a starting pitcher. I also played for 3 teams in my MLB career. I'll give you 3 hints, Ryan, if you're not used to the show here. So if you do know the first one, if you want to take a guess, you can. If not, I'll move on to hint number 2. I played 14 seasons from 1998, 2012, played for 3 teams in my MLB career. Anybody want to just throw out a guess out there? Yes or no? Ryan, you got one maybe? Tyler, you got one out there?
I have a guess, but I don't think it's right.
Yeah, I'm
Oh, yeah.
kind of in the same
I'll
boat,
hold
so
off.
I'll take hint number 2.
Hint number 2. I am a 2-time All-Star and 1 Rookie of the Year.
98 Rookie of the Year.
98.
That's not him.
That is I am a 2-time All-Star and Rookie of the Year. Hint number 1, just to go back to it, played 14 seasons from
No way,
1990
you played 14
to
seasons.
2012. Also played for 3 teams in my MLB career. Hit number 2. I'm a 2-time All-Star and 1 Rookie of the Year. Any guesses out there, gentlemen? I can move to hit number 3. I feel like this might help a little bit, so I'll go to hit number 3 here. Go ahead, Josh. You got one?
Josh Beckett.
It is not. That's a solid guess, though. Very solid guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hit number 3. I hit a home run in Game 7 of the NLCS 2003 NLCS Championship game. I also led the National League in strikeouts in 2003.
Mad
Is there a
Bum.
guess? Who?
Mad Bum.
2003.
Not
No, that's
Mad
true.
Bum.
Okay. Sorry.
No,
I was just
not
thinking
Mad
home runs. And
He was
playoff
excited,
games
though. I
by pitchers.
appreciate the excitement.
You said easy. I mean, come on, man. I'm
I thought
trying.
it might be for you, John. I thought this might be an easier run for Mr. Edwards. That's an easier run for him.
03. I'm trying to think who was good in 03.
I'm being thrown off by the fact that league is not spelled right.
Oh, sorry.
I'm close.
That's me writing. That's right. Where's spell check there with the Ryan?
Ooh, wow. Dang.
Ryan, that's unnecessary.
Spelled it phonetically.
Don't blame your ability not to
Liege.
get to
Liege.
Leegee. The Leegee.
that. All right, just for Ryan, we spell check the son of a bitch. There you go, Ryan. There you go.
Oh, I
There
got
you
the
go.
answer. No, I'm just
Now,
kidding.
now he got it right, Ryan. Give me the answer now. Give me the answer now.
Oh,
Ryan, I'll give you a
decent.
clue. Give you a clue. He pitched in the NL Central.
I know. Oh my gosh. It's like, hold on. Wayno was good at hitting home runs and being a starting pitcher when he played.
You're
I'm trying to think who they always compare him to.
You're way too late. Wayno and Mad
Yeah.
Bum were like the 10s.
NL
We're talking
Central.
about
Well,
the
no,
Central.
threes.
Wayno's rookie season was 06. So I'm trying to think who they compare him to when they talk
Yeah,
about his hitting.
Daddy
ability.
Stone, where are you at?
I'm going to guess,
Thank
but I
you.
don't think I'm right.
What you got,
I
Tyler?
have a wild guess, but I feel like
Yeah.
you would have brought up a different hint for this player.
I don't want to make it too obvious. I feel like he's kind of a
A
borderline
two-time
player.
All-Star. I don't know.
All right. Here's the answer, gentlemen. Kerry Wood.
Oh,
I had Kerry Wood. He played for 14 years. That was my first guess.
No,
And I was
Kerry
like, no
Wood.
way,
You should have said it.
I didn't think
Kerry
he played
Wood.
that long.
Ah,
Ryan, this is the reason I like to bring up the trivia. I'm going to get him up on the big board here. In just a
Who was the
minute.
third team he played for?
He played for the Indians and the Yankees in the American League. Those were the teams he played for in the American
The
League.
Indians. I didn't know.
Yeah, the
I didn't
Indians
think
was a one-year sneaker kind of there at the end
yeah,
with it.
I remember that actually. Now that you bring that up, I do remember that.
So
I
as
remember the
like to do-
Yankees.
If you had said 20 strikeout game, I would have said Kerry Wood.
Yeah, I could
he
get that
had more
away.
than
Be
two
too obvious.
All-Star games, too.
As I get that up, I always like to do a little video. Here's some of his highlights from that Astro.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Got him with the heat. As the day continues and he changes speeds. The gunslinger ready, the 2-2. Strike, 3 call. 1 and 2 from Kerry Wood. Got him swinging. 3 and 2.
Chip Carey.
Got him swinging. Got him with it again. Strike 3 called. The 0-2. Strike 3.
And as we're
called.
watching this, guys, Ryan, this stuff is absolutely true.
Strike 3 called. He
What
has
a
struck out
lineup.
the last 4 men he's faced.
He was so good.
And Phil.
See you later.
And that guy was like 4 feet off the plate.
Yeah, I don't want to ever hear shit about Maddox getting 6 inches off the plate again. What the hell is this?
Got him. The 0-2. Got him.
That was massive.
That's electric stuff right there.
God damn.
Here comes the hook.
I should have came up with him.
I knew
God, he was
98
a pain
Rookie
in
of
the
the
rear end.
Year.
He ties
Yeah, I didn't.
Two-time All-Star.
So I had to get that up there, obviously, just part of it with it. Just one of the best.
I'm pissed.
WGN 1998, I would have been, what was I, 14 at the time. A big moment, obviously, at that point in my life. And
was
just the
tense.
stuff. That curveball was freaking filthy with that fastball. Kerry Wood, Mark Pryor for just a couple of years there, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty nasty duo. I'm surprised. Tyler, first guess. I thought you might. When you said it, I was like, I think he knows it, but he didn't say it, so it doesn't count. He didn't say it, folks. I can't count it as a
loser.
Any final thoughts on Kerry Wood there, gentlemen? Any final thoughts there with Kerry Wood?
One of the best
What
what
could
ifs
have
of
been?
him and Mark Pryor's day, LB.
Definitely a big.
Pryor's
one.
another name. What could have been?
No, he definitely.
Well, when you said
think-
NL Central, that's all I could think of was Pryor.
I went
I
Roy
didn't think
Oswald
Wood
at the
'cause
end, but I was like, he
I
was
thought he was
more than
older.
two-time All-Star.
Yeah, off the jump, that was my first thought was Roy Oswalt, and then I was like, 2-time All-Star? I was like, no.
Can't do it with it. Ryan, that's why we do it. MLB trivia here every week here on the show. I like to keep it on. Kerry Wood, the answer this week. Little highlights with it. All right, before we get you out of here on the seventh inning here, we always like to do a little MLB flashback video of the week. Ryan, special shout out to you for being on the program this week. We're going to go to a 2008 Grand Slam here by the only Shane Victorino versus CC Sabathia in Game 2 of the NL Division Series.
I was at this game.
You were at this one. Let's get to it. I didn't even know it. Let's get it on the screen here. A
This
great
flag
moment. I got to
from that
bring it
game.
up. Here we go.
Ryan Braun looks up. Grand slam home run for Victorino.
What a great moment for your team. Shane Victorino on there. He's one of those players, too, that you kind of forget about. Like, my kids will probably never know about Shane Victorino. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of those players you won't think about. He was so important to those teams back in the day. That Grand Slam, the Phillies would win game two 5-2 over CC Sabathia. Obviously, it was on fire for the Brewers that year. I want to mention the winning pitcher for the Phillies that evening. He pitched 7 innings.
Brett
Myers. There he is. Ryan Swift.
You don't have to
You
mention
were at that game?
Yeah, you don't have to mention that to me because the best part of that Grand Slam was Brett Myers reached base against CC Sabathia in a 17-pitch at-bat right before Victorino hit that
Did he
Grand
walk?
Slam.
Is that what he did? Did he walk?
Yep, 17 pitches.
Did Victorino bat leadoff or second behind Rollins at that point?
He was 2 behind Rollins.
So Rollins then got on, or do you even remember that part of it?
Mhm.
Yeah, he did.
I was
Where
at
did
game.
Victorino come from before the Phillies?
He was a Rule 5 pick, so he's the second best Rule 5 pick I've ever seen in my life behind Johan Santana.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah,
That's
He
that
made
moment
his
was
name on the
crazy.
Phillies.
That was crazy. That
Yeah,
was
he
that
was
was
a Rule 5 pick from the Padres, and he turned out what a diamond in the rough, man.
I had to show that one for you. A little good luck, hopefully, for your season. A little thank you from me for joining our show tonight on 7th Inning Stretch. Couldn't end you with Joe Carter against the Phillies. Had to end you with that one victory.
No.
I could do you. I could do you like that.
I saw an ad for a Phillies-based T-shirt company that was making T-shirts that said "Joe Carter ruined my childhood." I said, "Why the fuck would I buy a shirt that says that?"
Ryan, that's well said on that.
Oh, dang.
I said to myself, I'm saving this one. I'm not Darren, don't be an a-hole. We're saving this for another episode. We're not doing this to Ryan. He's joining me after a year and doing it. So we're doing it. So, Ryan, I appreciate you joining us for 17th Stretch. Josh, real quick, anywhere I went wrong tonight? Did I go wrong?
You didn't go wrong, but I had a point you didn't let me make. So
All
I'm going to call you out for once.
Call me out
So
on it.
this is back when we were talking about pitchers not being able to pitch like they used to.
Yep.
Just one stat. Kershaw has thrown 25 complete games in his career. In 1969, Bob Gibson threw 28 complete games and threw 79 in his career. Don't tell me the pitchers today are better than the pitchers of old.
Okay, I will say
The
this.
spin rates.
I
Spin
said this
rates
to
are
Tyler
high.
like a year ago on a podcast. Like, it's the only thing that will blow my mind. In American history, everything's evolved. Pitchers' right arms and left arms have not
They've
evolved.
gotten worse.
It's like the one thing it's like humanity where you're like, my gosh, that right shoulder has gotten worse. Like it just does. It's the one thing like I always crack up about with that, with going forward. Like, all right, for some reason, pitchers can pitch longer. Like for some reason, the guy in Ryan in 1900 can go throw 500 innings. So it always cracks me up that that's part of the case with it. Go ahead.
Speaking of that, real quick, I just want to piggyback a stat off of that. Kershaw led the league in the 2010s in complete games pitched with 25. You know who was in third?
2000. What was the year again you mentioned?
The 2010s. So 2010 to 2019. Do you know who was in third?
Man, I would have no idea. No.
Roy Halladay, and he retired in 2012.
How do you pitch for already like
15 18 complete games between 2010 and 2011. Retired after the 2013 season, and he was third in the decade in complete games pitched.
That is, when you look at complete game stats, you want to get your mind blown away as a baseball fan. That is one to definitely watch about. Ryan, before we get out of here, BSing Sports, what do you guys got going on here? Appreciate you taking some time out of your evening. I know it's late, obviously, here on the East Coast, but thank you for joining Seventh Inning Stretch tonight. And where can we find you guys at? What do you guys got going on?
Yeah, on Twitter at BSing_sports. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Facebook. Man, you can find us everywhere, but mainly Twitter at BSing_sports. Tyler and I are engaged all the time, of course, during football season. And I just want to say thank you guys for the invite. My new work schedule, 5 a.m. comes early, but fortunately I'm not going into work tomorrow. So I was able to make time out of my day to come hang out and talk with you guys. And I very much appreciate the invite. It is always a good time coming out and talk to you guys.
And I've always, like I said, I remember the first time I ever listened to Seventh Inning Stretch. Honestly, you were on it. This was like a long time ago with Logan.
3-hour episode.
I remember being at my son's soccer practice, being in the car waiting. It was like you guys talking about Ryan Thompson had just been hired as your manager. So I kind of remember that. That was like the first time I ever locked into Seventh Inning Stretch was you guys talking about. So Ryan, I always appreciate you jumping on. Hopefully we can maybe get you on, once during the baseball season as well to kind of give us your thoughts on around the league and of course the Phillies as well. Tyler, TMB podcast, you did your Niners stuff last night. Appreciate you jumping on as well. You plan on doing Niners every week? What are you thinking there?
Every week, probably 15-minute podcast in the off season, just quick, get in, get out, update you what my thoughts are on what's going on in the NFL or specifically the 49ers. Nothing crazy, just a good time. Me and Brian will have maybe a little WWE at the end to keep the people entertained.
Hey, if you guys do something like that, I would love to just hop in from time to time.
You're always, it's an open invite. I'll let you know.
And Josh, you got the 314, the St. Louis podcast going on along with this as well. You guys did a good job.
And a left turn.
Last night. That was good. You guys you having fun with that so far?
I'm not. I got to figure out how to do it better. But it's fun. I'm not good at being on my own. So
tough. I don't know how
I struggle on my own. So I apologize that the content's not as good there as it is here, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it. I'm really excited for this week because they're in Bristol. It's short. It's literally a half-mile track, 500 laps, and nobody comes out of this race clean. It was the only race I really loved growing up as a kid. So I will be excited for the show this week. I hope you guys get a minute to hop on. I'll probably be cheesing out a little bit.
Well, you know what I'm going to say? Keep turning left. Keep turning left. That's what I can say on that. You know that.
Go fast.
All right, so guys, Seventh Inning Stretch in the books. Like I said, Josh Edwards here as always, Tyler Berger, Ryan Swift, BSing Sports. Be sure to check them out, Ryan. Again, we really appreciate you coming on tonight. Hopefully, like I said, we get you on later in the year. NL preview. We talked Cole. We talked Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got for you tonight. We'll see you guys next week. Regular season baseball right around the corner. Ryan Swift for Josh Edwards, for Tyler McGurk. I'm Darren Breyer. 7th Inning Stretch. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Thank you.